finally here. This would be a lot easier if I had somebody to help. So I'm gonna level with you guys. Since I've been working from home for many months, and then my work basically got slowed down a lot when students got sick. I work for a university. I haven't been doing a whole lot, and so I'm doubting my ability to lift this bike up high enough to get it out of the box, but we'll see. I don't know, man. I don't know. Got a better idea. We'll just cut down the sides. Should probably invest in a sharper knife at some point. All right, you guys ready? There she is. It's a much darker red than I thought at first. That looks nice. Chains off of it, but that's fine. We can get that. Looks like it came pretty well packaged. Chain came off. I don't know how hard that's going to be to put back on. Hopefully not. Look at that red though. Such a nice color. Gorgeous. All right, so the first step is basically going to be me cutting all of these zip ties and getting all this packaging off the bike. So let's get started with that. All right, so here's where we are at so far. You can see the new 2020 model has a different connection point for the headlight. Fender looks the same as their video. So we'll just go through quickly and do a little assembly video for you guys, just to follow the updated stuff with the bike. Like I said, Like I said, I don't think that there's much different other than the new headlight mount. So we'll get to putting that together. All right, so this is what comes in the new little boxes. Let's get these open. Hopefully there's some tools in here so I don't have to go back in the house and get that stuff. But we'll see. Ah, the headlight, okay. So, like I said, on the new 2020, late 2020 model, they seem to have a new bracket. As you can see there, on their old installation video, they had 3 screws on the frame that you connected the light to. So that should be a fair bit easier. Not easier, I mean, it's the same amount of screws and stuff, but just different. All right, and so then this box, I'm gonna guess is the battery charger. Hopefully, a little bike tool. Yeah. All right, so what's in the bigger box? First of all, we got our pedals. They look nice. Well-go pedals. Toolkit, obviously. Okay. So, here are the rear passenger pegs. Now, these are some sort of metal. Lock up, lock down, and these just bolt right onto the frame. We'll get to that in a little bit. Got our Allen driver, various sizes of wrenches, a screwdriver for the handle, just like that. Kind of weird. Some more Allen keys, and then just a handful of bolts, I assume, for the passenger pegs. We'll get all that put back in. Keep the driver handle out because we're going to need that to attach the fork here in a second. What else? See, I think this is a really good idea. This is a touch-up paint for the bike. So if you get a nick, you get a scratch, you've got factory paint. And I think that that's just a really nice little touch. What else? A little pedestrian bell. Welcome to the Ariel Rider family. This is to register for your bike warranty. Make sure we don't lose that. Bag of extra screws, that's always useful. An extra cable stay. So this is what they have on the front cables to keep the electronics and the brake hydraulics and stuff like that together. And then finally, this is most likely the charger. Yep, that's exactly what it looks like. All right, so that's enough about that. Let's get on with assembly. Now it looks like all we need to get the handlebars on. So, to get the handlebars on, you got these 4 screws here. All you gotta do is loosen these 4 bolts up. This is a 4mm hex, by the way, in case you want to use your own tools. We're just going to get these kind of snugged up. We're not going to tighten them down because I want to be able to adjust it later, and I'm not going to have to loosen it all the way up. At least it's holding itself. See if we can get it. Oh. Close enough. All right. So let's get the forks unpacked. So in addition to the new mount for the headlight there, they've also replaced the foam on the old models with this nice rubber protector mat. Looks a little bit nicer, probably lasts a little bit longer, and you don't have to worry about it as much as that little like foam rubber piece that they put on the older models. I'm trying to be careful here because I don't want to clip any of the brake lines or hydraulics lines or any of that kind of stuff. So, okay, like this is what I'm talking about. So this zip tie is holding the brake line retainer, but this one is not. This one's just helper. So we'll get in there very carefully. This is why you have sharper knives. Really don't want to mar this surface. There we go. Okay. So this is for the headlight. We'll get that in a little bit. I'm just going to tuck that away for now. So let's get the wheel unpacked and onto the bike. So the ends come with these little black protectors. These little hats, they look like. Make sure once you get the hat off, you pull the nut out for the axle. Don't just toss this away and then wonder where your nuts went. Don't lose the washer either, as I try to drop it through the porch. Time for another round of This Would Be Better with Another Person. Thanks, 2020. All right, so we'll just lift the bike up off of the stand. Almost forgot. Another thing that you want to do, if I can get down in there without messing up the rotor. Right here is a brake protector. That was much easier than I thought it would be, actually. So we got a washer, a nut. I'm just gonna get this finger tight for now, tighten it up in a second after I get both on. Washer, nut. Is that brake caliper looking? Adjust the brakes in a second. That's starting to look like a bike, my friends. Cool. So these are also new for the 2020 models, late 2020 models. They're okay. They look a little bit weird with these ratcheting straps. I'll probably take them off and replace them at some point, but they look all right. Tektro hydraulics look the same. I think the fork is updated. Like I said, it's got this rubber. The mounting for the fender looks the same, other than the fact that you don't mount the headlight in the same place. It's got its own mount. But yeah, everything else looks pretty good. So, new stuff. The rear swing arm is new. This new branding, the X-Class. So classy. So this is where your passenger pegs are going to mount. The K-Speed rear shock is also new. I don't know if you can see that. It's the K-Storm. The rear motor is brand new. According to Ariel Rider, this is all metal gears inside. So a little bit of an upgrade. I don't know if you can see all the different details in there. Again, you've got the same reflectors put on the back. They're all right. I mean, they just look like they're weird hanging onto the spokes like that. Rear taillight is new as well. But the nice thing is, so my plan is to this bracket to 3D print to hold rear signal lights. So having the bracket is nice so that you can get in there and use it as attach points. There's also attach points underneath the seat now. You see that there? New branding on the pedal arms. Chainring looks nice. Mine's going to require some work because it got derailed during shipping. So, all right, be back in a second. Okay, so we'll grab the pedals. Now, these are marked very small up in the corner here. This is the right pedal. This is the left pedal. So the wrench that fits the pedal arms, or the pedals themselves, to tighten up the pedal arm is the 15 millimeter. So you grab that out of your toolkit, cinch them down, make sure they're tight. That should be good for the pedals. So what does that leave us at? Well, we can readjust this to get it to fit us, tighten up the front. We still need to attach the front fender, passenger pegs. You know what, let's put a passenger peg on. Show how that goes. So the bolts for the passenger peg are inside of the little tool bag that they give you. It doesn't look like these are threaded holes, so you don't need a nut. What we're gonna do is put a washer. Well, So we're gonna go bolt, locking washer, washer. Just kind of hand tighten these, make sure that they're on tight. In the user manual, there is a guide for the amount of torque that you can put on all these bolts. I don't know if it's been updated for the late 2020 model, but I would double check there for any of the other parts just to make sure that you're within spec of what Ariel Rider thinks. I'm gonna get this other peg installed. I'll flip the bike around and continue on. Don't think that there's that much left. Like I said, we got to get the front fender, and then we'll be pretty much ready to give this thing its maiden ride. So let's check back in a bit. All right, so let's get the front fender installed. You just kind of loosen this little nut here, back in the front. Now, the way that they say to install this is with the short end facing the front and the long piece facing the back. So let's give that a shot and see how it looks. So that is the 8 millimeter wrench for the fender bolt, or fender nut, excuse me. hold that into place. Cinch that up. Can't tell if that's straight or not. Yeah, it looks good. So we'll move onto the front headlight. So that just looks like a nut and a bolt. Oh, it's 2 bolts. Okay. That undone. Now the wire for that, I'm actually going to thread this through the frame a little bit. Now this takes the 13mm wrench. These are independent, so kind of get them loosely on there at first so you can adjust the headlight the way you want it. And I had to put a little bit of force on that to get the bolt to go in. So take your time, don't cross thread it, make sure that it's seated in the hole correctly. I would suggest putting on the fender after the headlight because it's going to get in the way when you're trying to tighten that bolt down. Don't forget, once you've connected that, find your headlight cable. Now these have arrows that point towards each other, so just make sure that you line up your arrow. Press them together. And I'll kind of pop in to one another. Now it looks great. Let's get these front wheels tightened up. What do we need? What do we need? So the gigantic Allen key is to adjust the angle of the handlebars. Just want a little bit of lift on that. All right, cool. Last thing I'm going to do here is adjust the handlebars to where I think I would like them. Electronics control module also needs plugged in. Again, there's arrows on the connectors, just line those up. Press them together. Cool. So that's the bike assembled. We got everything put together. I'm just going to go through after this, make sure all the screws are tight, make sure that the derailleur and the disc brakes are aligned properly, and give it a ride. Check back in a couple days and we'll see about getting a review out. Thanks, guys.